Yeah, it is another episode of the Autumn Windbags. RJ here. Let's have some fun today. Tuesday, live chat, like always. What's up, everybody? Get in that chat area right over this way, I believe. StreamYard switches it. It's a mirror image, so I'm pointing to my left, but it looks like I'm pointing right because we were inverted. Shout out Top Gun. Oh my god, the new Top Gun trailer. Have you guys seen it? Looks amazing. Although I hear that the enemy is Ukraine, like it's Ukrainian planes in the movie. So they're like, because they started filming this like 3 years ago, 4 years ago, before all the Ukraine Russia thing went down. So they're like, what do? We can't have them be shooting down Ukrainian planes in this climate. They'll figure it out. Yeah, get in the comment section, get in the chat. We'll be taking your questions through the next hour. Couple things I want to get to. So the big news, I'm on Twitter all day, every day. It's semi part of the job, right? You want to see like the latest late breaking news. It's easier than just going to like 15, 20, 50 websites a day. You get to hear like kind of what a lot of colleagues are saying, what other Raider creators are saying, journalists are saying, friends of mine are saying. I'm on there all day long. And obviously the big news is that Elon Musk is buying Twitter. People are losing their shit, right? Conservatives are saying, "Oh yeah, it's great, it's awesome. We finally got one of our guys running Twitter. It's going to be awesome." Liberals are losing their minds, saying, "Oh, democracy is doomed. He's going to ruin it." Blah 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 blah. Right? They're both full of shit. This is the truth about Twitter. It is the smallest social media site that's out there. Facebook, YouTube, TikTok, Snapchat, Instagram, you name it, all these random different like social media sites, and like China has their own, like Japan has one. They're all bigger than Twitter, every single one of them. Facebook made $117 billion in 2021. Twitter made $5 billion, right? It's tiny, but people like it because it's influential for them, right? What Twitter did that everyone else copied after Facebook was they had like a follower count as opposed to friends. So you can kind of like gauge your popularity. And that's why so many blue check marks like Twitter. This is the thing. Twitter's a bubble. That's where you go to hear people that tell you what you want to hear. It's not this giant influential social media that's changing the world. It really isn't. So when your friends, if they're like super conservative or they love Elon Musk and they're like, yeah, this is great, it's going to change the world. Or your friends, or let's say they're liberal, or they hate Elon Musk and they're like, oh, this is a travesty. This is awful. He's going to destroy democracy. They're both full of shit. Nothing's going to happen. We're going to go on there to see recycled TikToks and late breaking news about the Raiders, rumors about Darren Waller, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. That's what Twitter's for. Tell your friends to calm down. I know you guys are smarter than that. Real quick before we get to the Darren Waller conversation, because I want to get to this first. We did a video last week on Mike Florio and how he's been shitting on Derek Carr for almost 5 years. And not just shitting on him. Like, it's one thing to just be like, oh, I don't like this player, or I don't think this player's good. People can have that opinion. You can think a player's overrated. You can think a player's underrated. You can think whatever. And it's fine. What Florio does, though, is he's just flat out wrong. We played the multiple times throughout the last few years when he swore Derek Carr is going to be traded. John Gruden wants him gone. That's why he brought in Nathan Peterman. That's why he brought in Marcus Mariota. He's going to get Fitzpatrick to come in. He's going to get Jameis Winston to come in. And he's been just flat out wrong about Derek Carr for almost half a decade. And he just keeps going. And so Soto and I, we did 20 minutes on how Florio is just flagrantly wrong about Derek Carr. He's been consistently wrong about him, and not wrong in that he thinks he's a bad quarterback or thinks that, he's overrated. He's just wrong. Like he did this whole thing about how Derek Carr shouldn't be paid like a top 10 quarterback. He's not paid like a top 10 quarterback by no metric. By no single metric is Derek Carr paid like a top 10 quarterback. His salary next season is going to be 12th. Cap hit's going to be 12th. He's not even top 20 in guaranteed money. Even if Derek Carr gets every single dime of this contract of this non-guaranteed money, which I do think he does, I don't think the Raiders cut him. I don't think they trade him. Obviously, the no trade clause is going to be more difficult. I think he stays because the contract's so good. At no single season will he be a top 10 paid quarterback. Derek Carr literally put his money where his mouth is and said, I want to be a Raider. I'll take a pay cut to do so. And still Florio says, oh, no, I don't believe him. I think he's a phony. I think he's going to be gone. Complete farce. And we had a lot of comments on it. And Hater 623, if you're listening, shout out. He said specifically, and this is something that a lot of you guys echoed. He said, Tim Tebow and Derek Carr, big Christian men, and this guy hates on both of them and works for NBC. NBC, the media that spews anti-Christian narratives. So a lot of you guys were bringing up the Christian angle, how Derek Carr's vehemently Christian, and that maybe that's why Florio hates on him. That's as good of a theory as I can come up with. My theory was simply, all right, he's just a bad broadcaster, a lazy broadcaster. He needs a Derek Carr Raiders take, and he goes with he's a phony and John Gruden wants him gone. That's where I thought of it. I think it's, he's just a terrible broadcaster. Maybe. I think he'd get further if he just straight up said, I don't like Christians and I think they're fake, than just looking like a shitty broadcaster. It's one thing to be like, because there's a lot of people that don't like Christianity, right? They're out there. At least you have like those people on your side, as opposed to just looking like a terrible broadcaster and having nobody on your side. There's a difference. And it's funny because Florio in his outrage was talking about, hey, I don't like guys that are fake. Be yourself. And if people hate you, they hate you. If they love you, they love you. Just be yourself. And if you guys are right that this Florio hatred for Derek Carr just stems because he doesn't like Christians and he thinks they're fake, then he's being the fake one. Just straight up say, yeah, you know what? I'm an atheist and I don't like Christians. Just say that. At least you'll have atheists on your side, as opposed to just looking like you're terrible at your job. Anyway. All right. So this is why we're all here today. The news came out. Is it news? The rumor came out. The discussion came out. How about the report? Cheesehead TV, obviously the go-to website for all things Raiders news, said Packers are targeting Raiders tight end Darren Waller. The team tried to trade for the veteran when they sent Davante Adams to Las Vegas. So as the report goes, the Packers are actively trying to get Davante Adams. Trying to get Darren Waller. When they traded Davante Adams, they wanted a first and a player. And that was news that came out after the fact via The Athletic. And they said, but because you can't trade a player when you have a player that's franchise tagged as part of the trade, then you can't do it, right? So they were kind of forced to take a second round pick instead of a player. Now, we were debating who that player was. I thought, man, that's pretty gutsy of them to think Darren Waller. This is a few weeks ago. Some of you were saying, oh, yeah, it was Brian Edwards. Everyone already knows this. I didn't see that confirmed anywhere. Someone made it a rumor, and a bunch of you guys jumped on like, oh, yeah, it was Brian Edwards who they wanted. One, I thought, okay, that's not documented anywhere. Two, that's a no-brainer. Absolutely, the Raiders would trade Brian Edwards for a second instead of and then keeping their own second. Absolutely, they would. So it didn't make any sense, the Brian Edwards theory. Okay, so let's get to the report. All this report says is, according to a pair of league sources, the Packers are targeting a veteran tight end, specifically Las Vegas Raiders tight end Darren Waller. The Packers and Raiders have engaged in talks regarding a trade of Waller with an eye toward a deal getting done during this week's NFL draft. So let's do a quick lesson in how the media works in football. And I've worked in sports media for almost 15 years. All this says is that a pair of league sources say that the Raiders and Packers have talked. That's all it says. They didn't say who the league sources were. They didn't say that they're Packers sources. They didn't say they're Raiders sources. They didn't say they're front office sources. They didn't say they were coaches. They didn't say they were NFL people. They didn't say any of that. Literally no details whatsoever. So you got to go on, all right, what exactly is a source, right? That's like me saying, well, I have two sources that say Patrick Mahomes likes to have sex with sheep. And now we should make that news because I have two sources, right? It doesn't mean anything. Okay. Now, again, I'm not saying Cheesehead TV is bad or wrong or malicious or they're spewing lies. I'm not saying that. I perfectly believe that two people told this writer, Packer Aaron, that the Raiders and Packers had talked about a trade for Darren Waller. I believe that. I believe something like that happened. But what does that entail? Does that mean Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler have been talking vehemently and been trying to get rid of Darren Waller with the Packers? Or does this mean that a backup scout at the Packers over a drink at the bar bumped into an assistant GM for the Raiders and they brought it up? And the Packers said, hey, we'd love to have Darren Waller on the team. It could be any of those things. It could be, oh my God, it's happening today. This is solid journalism. We know exactly what's going on. Or it could be something as simple as two of them bumped into each other. Obviously, the Packers want Darren Waller. Every team in football wants Darren Waller. He's that good. His contract's that amazing. He's he's the best value on the Raiders team. He's one of the best value contracts not on a rookie deal in football. Of course, everyone wants him. He has 2 more years on his deal, no guaranteed money, top 3 tight end. Of course, everybody wants him. And maybe they think they can get him for cheap because he's coming off of, his worst year because he missed 5 games because of knee injury, back injury, and COVID. Of course, people want him. So right now, I'm not treating this story as anything more than rumor. I'm not treating this any more than happenstance. You know what Derek Carr thinks about it? No chance. And Derek Carr normally doesn't chime in on stuff like that, right? Derek Carr isn't he's not thinking about getting a job at ESPN later. He's not thinking of being a Sirius XM radio host for NFL radio later. He doesn't want to get involved in this. He's just saying, no, ain't going to happen. And you notice how no one followed up on this story. You can always tell how valid a story is by how many people follow up on a story. So if this story from, again, Cheesehead TV, not The Athletic, not ESPN, not SiriusXM, not the Autumn Windbags, Cheesehead TV says that there's been a discussion. There's been no positive follow-up whatsoever. Nobody else has jumped in and said, yeah, following up on this story, my sources also confirm. Now, again, there's been people that have said, oh, Cheesehead TV is reporting this, like the one I just showed you. Like, there's a Raiders creator. I'm not going to say who it was because I don't bash our own. But he did a video saying, yeah, and then PFF also confirmed it. PFF also confirmed the news that Darren Waller is potentially going to be traded. They didn't confirm it. They're just reposting it via Aaron Nagler. There's no confirmation by PFF here. None. It's just them simply saying, this guy reported this. They're just trying to get clicks. They're just spreading the same story. And again, it's not malicious. It's not bad. It is true that Aaron Nagler reported this story, and they're letting their audience know this reporter reported something. That's fine. But this isn't a confirmation of the story. It's just more noise. Nobody confirmed this story. Nobody even advanced the story. Aaron Nagler did this story, and then it hit a brick wall. Nobody advanced it. No one pushed it forward. No one dug deeper and found anything positive. The only thing we found is ESPN's Jeremy Fowler saying, got a firm 0 chance Darren Waller is traded from a source. Teams certainly would like to acquire a top tight end on a good contract, but Raiders have no plans to acquiesce. This story is pure rumor, pure happenstance. I'm not going to say it's clickbait. That's not fair because I think it's very possible that Cheesehead Aaron talked to somebody and they said yes. The Raiders and Packers have mentioned a Darren Waller trade. But again, it could be just as simple as someone from the Packers shooting Dave Ziegler a text and him saying, LOL, no, we're not giving you Darren Waller, which is what I think happened. That's what I think happened. That's what I think went down. Very casual conversation about one of the most sought after players in football because he's top 3 at the position and he has one of the best value contracts in the league. Of course, everybody wants him. Now, with that said, it doesn't mean it's impossible that Darren Waller gets traded. It's still a possibility. It's, we've got a loaded offense. We've got a lot of expensive players. Just gave Max Crosby a big deal. Signed Chandler Jones to a big deal. Devontae Adams was the highest paid wide receiver in football for like 45 minutes. Extended Carr to a very, very team-friendly deal, but he's still a franchise quarterback and is going to cost $28 million next season. We still need money for Hunter Renfrow. These aren't cheap, right? We have our 3 2019 draft picks that we have to decide by May 1st if we're going to extend them. Clay Farrell, Josh Jacobs, and Jonathan Abram. There's no way we extend Clay, so that's gone. But Jacobs, that's like $8-9 million if the Raiders keep him and we extend him for that 5th-year option. That's a lot of money. Someone's going to get squeezed out. I don't think it's Darren Waller. I hope it's not Darren Waller because, again, 2 years left on his contract. No guaranteed money. He's a great deal. But this also goes down to, remember those rumors that were spreading that Darren Waller's unhappy, he wants out, he's demanding a trade, all these things? He was at OTAs, first day. 2 weeks ago at the super optional workouts, he was there. Day 1, 7 a.m. This is all smoke, no fire. Again, possible. Certainly possible that Darren Waller gets traded. But this report, I'm not buying it. All right, let's get to your questions. You guys have been flying in the comments. Twitter never done anything for me. Yeah, not for a lot of people. Bye-bye, Waller. God, you wish, Hefe. God, you wish, Hefe. Hefe Casey comes in here every single chat, just kind of, poking the bear, trying to see what the enemies are talking about. And you thought you were coming in here and we're going to do a victory dance that Darren Waller's gone. You thought you're going to be out here doing cartwheels in the comment section, popping champagne bottles. Oh, man, one of the most dangerous weapons in football is out of my division. Not happening, Hefe. He ain't going anywhere. Well, so Waller's too cheap, but he ain't going nowhere unless he holds out. And if he holds out, Green Bay won't get him either. So again, the chances of Darren Waller holding out, still possible. It's, certainly possible. Not because of there's any signs of it, only because of how great his deal is. That's the only reason. He's shown no outward signs that he wants to like hold out, be an asshole, make a big stink about it. He's made no signs of that. Again, certainly possible because the deal is so good. But what possible hints has he given that he's like, yeah, I'm going to cause a stink. I'm going to hold out and make a big deal about it. I'm going to demand a trade. He isn't any of that. Remember when the Raiders pulled him off the scrap heap? He was wasting away on the Ravens practice squad. And the Raiders grabbed him, turned him into a super stud tight end. Remember that? Remember when Derek Carr helped him break records 2 seasons ago? Remember that? Waller remembers. RJ, that is how I took it. He, meaning Florio, called Carr fake because he is a Christian. Again, a lot of you guys said that. I just picked one example. Here's another one. It never even crossed my mind. But so many of you brought it up that I thought, maybe that's it. I don't follow Florio enough. I don't follow Florio's opinion stuff almost ever. It's all just like he's just really good at like contract stuff because he's a lawyer. Like I read his breakdowns, his contract stuff, his cap stuff. Like he's good at that stuff, and I read him for that. But like his show, I never watch. I literally only get him bashing on Carr from you guys sending me clips. When Raider Post did that like 4-minute video of Florio just being terribly wrong about Derek Carr for like 4 years, that's where I learned all this stuff about him. Just, the rest of Florio's stuff's worthless. Florio's being a dick, not an atheist. That's originally what I thought. I thought he was just being a bad broadcaster. MacBud, always rumors around draft time. I love your Canadian way of spelling rumors. Lets me know where you're from. Little hint, little subtle hint. Rumors. Yeah, there are. I think there's watch for the next couple days. Because the draft is such a behemoth for all the news outlets, NFL, NFL Network, ESPN, all the journalists, TV production people, after parties, events. The NFL draft is its own traveling ecosystem. It is a circus that just makes money. It just prints money, right? That's what the NFL does so well. It turns the combine into an event, the draft into an event, preseason into an event. Like they know how to do that, right? And because this draft, we're going to talk about more on tomorrow's show, but maybe I'll bring it up here. Because this draft is so unsexy, because there's no like real high-end quarterbacks, not like last year where there's like 6 quarterbacks in the first round. It was just anarchy. And you had the Aaron Rodgers news drop day of. Like an hour before the first round of the draft started, you had the Aaron Rodgers news, right? So I can see people waiting till the draft or setting the table for there to be these big draft trades and these big draft news, just like news breaking stuff, right? So keep an eye on that. And again, when you're watching this news break, mind a couple things. When it says sources say, watch where it comes from, things to follow. Packers media trying to get Packers fans about some bullshit. Yeah. Maybe. So think about it. When Cheesehead TV gets the story, where do you think he got the story from? From a Raiders source? From an NFL front office source? No. He got it from the Packers. This news doesn't come out unless someone wants it to. Cheesehead TV wasn't in the back of the Green Bay facilities going through the paper shredder and taping them all together, doing like investigative journalism to get this report. Someone leaked it to him on purpose. The question is why? Probably this. I see Waller staying cheap for the Raiders. If he gets traded, he holds out. Maybe. I think if he gets traded, he doesn't hold out. Like the team that's going to trade for him and get those resources are going to decide what the deal is before they get him. Like this isn't some like rotational pitcher in Major League Baseball. They just like toss him around like the village bicycle, right? This is a premier player. They're going to want him to be happy, and they're going to want to know what that contract and deal is before they allocate assets for him and trade for him. Oscar Gill, my guess is it means the Packers asked if Waller was available and Ziegler gave any good GM would listen to the offer. Yeah. That's a very, very rational possibility. That's probably the most likely possibility. Hey, what's going on with Darren Waller? I don't know. What do you got for him? Right? What else do we got here? Wouldn't there be hints that he was disgruntled, like not showing up for voluntary workouts with he is? Thank you. Thank you. That's what I've been saying. Look, and if you guys have info I don't, like if Waller said something in an interview I missed, like if there's something like that going on, please let me know. I just don't see it. I don't think it exists. Oh yeah, I already did that one. He was only discovered late in his career. I mean, what? Third season in Baltimore? Second or third season in Baltimore? It wasn't like he was old. He was just, yeah, he just wasn't. Well, he's also going through everything, right? He was still having his addiction problems and still sorting out his demons, right? And he came to the Raiders, and the Raiders helped him sort it out. So not only did the Raiders pull him out of obscurity, make him a superstar in the league, make him top 3 at his position, but they gave him the tools and helped along the process of him getting sober and being a man again. I mean, there's something to that. Now, business is business and money talks, but there's something to that. There's something to loyalty. Rod Gas. Nothing but smoke because they don't have anything to talk about. And Raiders sale because Raiders fans are fanatics, and Raiders fans, we go crazy about anything. I mean, if you want to poke the bear of one franchise's fan base, can't go wrong with the Raiders, right? We're a passionate lot. I'm so glad we didn't give up D-Wall in that trade. Yeah, no way. If it was straight up a first rounder and Waller for Devontae Adams, my God, man, that's a hefty price. Unless they know something about Darren Waller, we don't. Look, here's another possibility, and knock on wood, I hope that's not the case. I hope this is just, I'm trying to reverse jinx it. But maybe that injury to Waller last season is more than we thought. Remember, it was weird. It went from a knee injury to a back injury to COVID back to like a back injury. And again, back injuries are weird, right? Like they can spaz up, spaz out, flare in, flare out. Can last 2 days, can last 2 months, right? Could be anything. That, if anything, that should prove to us how good of a situation Darren Waller is in if the Packers were really making a hard push for him and the Raiders still said no. If he was damaged goods, if the Raiders thought that he was going to start holding out or making a stink, they would have moved on. We would have moved on from him. And they haven't. I don't see a Waller trade till next offseason, if ever. And that's something our friend Vic Tafer of The Athletic said in one of his articles last week. And it made the news, right? Made the rounds. And that makes sense because that's the last year of his contract. And again, all these expensive contracts that the Raiders are doing, all these superstars that they're signing, someone's going to get squeezed out. Hopefully not Waller, right? Hopefully this is this is what the Raiders have going for them now that they haven't had in decades. We're winning. We got a stable quarterback. We got weapons galore. We're in a great city with no income tax, no state income tax, brand new stadium. The Raiders are now a destination. Coaches are leaving stable positions to come to the Raiders. The Raiders are a destination now. The Raiders are now going to start getting hometown deals. Derek Carr was just the first and biggest and most obvious ones, right? The Raiders are going to get guys that maybe will, you know what? I'm not going to play for cheap, but I'll take a couple million less because I can win a ring here. I'll take a couple million less because I want Derek Carr to throw me the ball. I'll take a couple million less because I know Josh McDaniels is going to use me properly. I'll take a couple million less because it'll end up being a couple million more, not paying income taxes in Nevada. That's what the Raiders are now. Why do you think everyone was clamoring to go back to Tampa Bay when Tom Brady was there, right? Or is there? They want to win. That's us now. Loved DC forever. I'm confused. So if Green Bay gets Waller, they can't pay him twice what Waller will make on his contract in 2022. I mean, they can. They could renegotiate the contract. And I think that's what happened. I think that would be a stipulation for Darren Waller's side to say, if I get traded to the Packers, I want more money. But the Raiders had to give up Darren Waller. Like, that's what everyone's. Stop everything for a second. Just the brake pedal's on the left. Hit the brake pedal for 1 second, right? The Raiders have one of the best tight ends in football and one of the best deals in football. Why would they get rid of him? Are we really going to get someone better than Darren Waller with a second-round pick? Why would the Raiders move on from Darren Waller? Unless he gets insanely expensive and they just can't afford him because of cap space, which isn't the case. If he's extremely disgruntled and causing a giant scene, even then they may not trade him. How many players have caused scenes over the last few seasons and didn't get traded? Now, some did, right? We just got Devontae Adams. He wanted out, and we got him, right? It happens. It definitely happens. But how many players say, oh, I want out. This is BS. Get me out of here. And the team calls their bluff and they stay. That happens way more often than a player making a stink and then getting traded. We don't think that because when players get traded, it's much, much bigger story, right? It's a way bigger story how Russell Wilson went to Denver because he caused a stink and they both, and I think Seattle wanted him out. He obviously wanted out. I also kind of theorizing that Wilson's a little more hurt, a little less tread on the tires than maybe a lot of people want to admit because he's undersized in his style of football for a quarterback. He's not going to have the longevity of Tom Brady. He's not going to have the longevity of Aaron Rodgers. Derek Carr's going to have way more years than Russell Wilson in the league just because of Russell's style of play, right? That made huge news because the trade actually happened. We forget all of the other players that bitch and moan and cry and demand a trade, and the GM and the coach say, nope, you're staying. And the player shows up, tail between his legs, and plays because he signed that contract. Did Ziegler confirm? Ziegler confirm what? Any trades or anything? He hasn't confirmed anything as far as I know. Soto into the penthouse. Get an avatar, Soto. How do I know it's you? Carr, Adams, Jacobs, Renfrow, Waller. Ready for week 1 yet? What a shame that we have a Pro Bowl punter that's just going to die on the vine. I know this is a problem every team wants to have, and I'm obviously joking, but we got one of the best punters in football. Pro Bowl punter. Can punting legs get rusty? If you don't use it, you lose it? Because I think that's what's going to happen to us. Carr, Adams, Jacobs, Renfrow, Waller. I'd even throw Kenyon Drake in there. One of the best kickers in football. God. If that line can handle what's coming at it, it's going to be scary. It's going to be real scary. All our great defensive pieces that are real young, just 1 season older, 1 season better. Chandler Jones, obviously, other side of Max Crosby. Just wrecking shop on AFC West quarterbacks. This is me swatting the ball away. If I was Chandler Jones, Max Crosby. Ziegler played the Packers. So Marcus Johnson from Tape Don't Lie pointed this out on Twitter. He said something. Now, this might just be like ex-Patriots worship because, Bill Belichick obviously, has 2 decades of being really smart with his personnel, right? Gets rid of guys when their value's high before they fall off. Signs guys off scrap heaps that turn them into good players. He's got a history of doing a pretty good job. And so if we're assuming that Ziegler and McDaniels have the same, mystic powers as Bill Belichick, Marcus Johnson was saying he didn't believe that Dave Ziegler and Josh McDaniels either didn't know or forgot that you can't trade a player for player when they're on a franchise tag. So he kind of pointed out there that Ziegler said, oh yeah, Waller in that trade. Let's talk about it. Yeah, here, first and Waller for Adams. All right, let's start putting pen to paper. And then, oh no, we can't trade Waller. Oh, boy, is my face red. Oh man, shucks. This is so embarrassing. I forgot there's a rule that we can't trade a player for a franchise tag player. I guess we can't give you Darren Waller. Here's a second round pick instead, which is very possible. I mean, I'm not ready to give Ziegler, like, knight him the GM genius and give him all the credit for the moves that Belichick and the Patriots made. But goddamn, I hope he is. I hope he made that move. I hope he's able to swindle the ever-living shit out of the other 31 GMs in football. I hope he pulled that move, and I hope he's just getting warmed up. I hope that's him just stretching. Like, yeah, let me try this little Darren Waller move. These guys don't read the rule book. These guys don't have lawyers that actually pay attention. Hey, Soto, snatch the mic from RJ. He can't stop pushing a rumor. What rumor? I'm shooting down the rumor. Packers fans just crying because they lost the best receiver in football. I wonder how Packers fans are feeling. Honestly, I don't have a lot of Packers buddies. I don't read a lot of Packers anything. I wonder how they're feeling. I wonder if they're just like, well, he had to go. He wanted out. We got to let him go. Hey, I'm so glad we got the cap space and, a first and second rounder. Or if they're like, God damn it. This is so terrible. We lost the best receiver in football. And he's going to go play with his best friend that he already has synergy with. I just bought a shirt with Derek Carr, Hunter Renfrow, Devontae Adams, and Darren Waller on it saying Raiders 2022 offense. They better not trade him. I will pass that along, Valerie. We don't, I think if anything, I think if Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler are sitting there, maybe we should make that trade. Maybe we should get Darren Waller out of here. We can get some value for him. Wait, Valerie's got a shirt. Nick's in it. No way. I got a Ruggs jersey. What do you do? What do you do with a Henry Ruggs jersey? Let's say you paid 200 something bucks for an authentic Henry Ruggs black jersey. What do you do with it? It's not like a player retired or got traded, where it's like, yeah, it's in the trade pile. It's like, this guy's going to jail for years. What do you do with that jersey? I wish I had a good suggestion for you. I don't know. Maybe like what you should do with the Henry Ruggs jersey? You should frame it and hang it up at the exit of your favorite bar as a reminder. That's what bars should do. That should be a city ordinance. That should be in a city ordinance in Las Vegas. This should be a city rule, city law. A Henry Ruggs jersey needs to be framed and posted at the exit of every bar to remind everybody, if you're leaving a bar and you're drunk, you can go to jail for the rest of your life or for several years and cost someone else their life. It should be a reminder to everybody. Steve the Cockfighter. Hey, RJ, there's a rumor I saw on Twitter that when you're in Vegas for the weekend, you go to bed at 9 and watch Jackson Mahomes TikToks all night. I can absolutely vouch that half of this is true. When I'm in Vegas for a weekend, I am usually in bed by 9. I don't have a TikTok, but I would get TikTok just to not watch Jackson Mahomes on it. Just so I can boycott him. You know what I mean? I can't understand what's hard to understand. Raiders make a deal to trade Waller. They save his money this season. Waller gets the top 3 tight end deal. Y'all saying he's worth. How is this hard to get? I thought I explained it. I can't understand what's hard to understand. Raiders make a deal to trade Waller. Okay, stop. Why would the Raiders make a deal to trade Waller? Why would they do that? And I appreciate the question, right? I really do. Why would the Raiders trade away Darren Waller? I mean, they don't need to save his money. He's making pennies for what he's worth. He's got one of the best deals in football. Why would they trade away one of their best players? And I get the rest of it. Yeah, if he does get traded, then he negotiates with the Packers and he can negotiate a new deal. Packers can negotiate a new deal and get him paid more. But the Raiders have the rights to Darren Waller. Darren Waller is a Raider, not an unrestricted free agent, not, maybe they'll pick up his 5th-year option. Like, none of those things. It is an airtight contract. Why would the Raiders get rid of Darren Waller? He's awesome. He's happy there. He's got rapport with Derek Carr. He's only going to be more successful because now everyone's going to be double covering Devontae Adams. He's in a great place. If the Raiders do trade Darren Waller for some reason that I can't fathom, then yes, he can renegotiate a new deal with the Packers. But why? Why would he? Why would they ever trade him away? What if Ruggs got the minimum 2 years and it was suspended and he got out? Would he come back? Oof. So every attorney that I've heard talk about this, and we've had one on our show, an awesome one. Go back down the archives if you want to listen to the whole episode. But we went into depth with an attorney who knows NFL, knows NFL rules and all that. Criminal attorney in Ohio, and him and every other attorney I've heard from or talked to, they all say he's not getting the minimum 2. He's in there for a while. He had a loaded gun, unregistered weapon in the car, killed a young woman and her dog. It wasn't like he was drunk driving going 70 miles an hour and hit a pedestrian that was in the middle of the street. He was going 157 miles an hour, hammered, and killed a young woman. No DA worth his salt. They were going to say, all right, let's just slap on the wrist. He made a lot of mistakes that night. Gun nerd. I don't know if Mark Davis would be the guy to allow him to come back to Raiders. Mark Davis paid for that dead girl's funeral. That's another part too. Never mind just the legalities of it, the PR part of it. There's been a lot of players that have come back from really bad things. But they've been like domestic violence, robbery stuff, right? I don't know if anyone who's actually responsible for the death of somebody has ever come back to the NFL. Even if it is, an accident like a DUI. Man, this got depressing. I have an O.J. Simpson jersey framed above my girlfriend's door as a reminder. Yeah, don't bang the boy toy in the guest room. That's a good reminder. I carry around black leather gloves for the same reason. Never get caught. Only way Raiders trade Waller is if we get a haul for him, a first and more. Honestly, even if Ziegler and McDaniels are like, look, we're just not going to be able to afford Darren Waller moving forward. Like we're gonna have to trade him. And a lot of times, teams know this, but they wait, right? A lot of times teams are like, look, we're going to have to trade this player away either this season or next season. Let's just wait for the right time. Let's hypothesize. Let's live in a fantasy world for 1 second. Let's say Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler are like, all right, we have to trade Darren Waller. We got to do it. Either because we think he's hurt or because we can't afford him or we think he's just not that good or we think we can get more value for him. Whatever the reason, right? I don't think this is the case, but let's play make-believe. Is it now a terrible time to trade for him? He's coming off of his worst season. Is he injury prone? Teams are going to be wondering that. Does he have long COVID? Is it his knee? Is it his back? This is you're going to get not the most value out of him. One of the best time to trade him is next season when he's just one season better, one season more good rapport with Derek Carr. Likely this team is much better, which makes every single player on the team look better, would make a deep playoff run, right? Isn't next season the right time to move on from Darren Waller if Mick Ziegler and company think that's the case? Obviously, his value's still good. He's still amazing. But wouldn't you want to wait till after he like knocked everyone's socks off? If we were going to trade Darren Waller, it would have been after 2 seasons ago. And he was breaking Raiders records. Wouldn't it be after this season? RJ, you're going to be at the draft this week. So I fly into Vegas Thursday. My flight's at 9. So I'll be basically like watching the draft at the airport on the flight, and then I'll be landing kind of when it's over. But I think Friday night, I might stroll over to the Bellagio, check it out. I'm working Friday mid-morning and day, like afternoon, maybe afterwards. I heard they set up this giant stage in the Bellagio over the fountain, right? So it's not like you have to go, like you have to just pay money and go into like a convention center to see it. You can see it all from everywhere, right? Might go down there and just kind of enjoy the party, see what's going on. I have so little interest in the draft normally because I think the coverage of the draft is insane. It's like, all right, tell me where the UCLA and BYU players went because those are the Clifford family teams, and who'd the Raiders get? That's all I want to know. I really don't care about the pomp and circumstance and the circus. I really don't care. And now the Raiders don't have a first or second round pick, I may not watch like Friday morning or Thursday night. I'll just like read about it later. But if I'm going to be down there at the Bellagio in Vegas, seeing the action, yeah. Raiders D will give this massive offense good field position more this season. I agree. Our punter and kicker are going to get bored. Nothing better than a bored kicker and punter. Nothing better. We're going to get these guys like magazine subscriptions. So they just kind of kick it on the sidelines. That would make a great t-shirt. That'd be a great t-shirt of our special teams, just kind of like super bored, feet up, right? Like feet up on the sidelines. Oh, yep. Oh, 49-0. Oh, great. Okay. Let me know. I got to do an extra point. Oh, you need a punt? No. Okay. No, I'm good. Great. We're really not desperate for picks. It's not like we're rebuilding from zero. No, we're in a great position. We're in a maintain. We're not even in a maintain is better than a rebuild or a win now. We're not forfeiting the future to strike it right this second. We're just making smart moves to keep getting better, improving on the back end, improving on the front end. We're in a great spot. Darth Vader Raider. Waller don't want to go there. He wants to go into the entertainment biz when he's done with football. Yeah. Why do you think so many NBA players want to be Lakers? They want to be in Hollywood. They want to make connections in Hollywood. So much of success in certain businesses, especially in the entertainment business, is just connections. Excuse me. I bumped into a new agent at the bar, or I was at this party in the Hollywood Hills, and I ran into this producer that could help me out. Like that's so big of it. That's such a big part of it all. And obviously Vegas is in LA, but it's close and it's got its own entertainment area, right? Dante Stallworth killed the pedestrian while drunk. There you go. Yeah, that's probably the closest one. But again, Stallworth didn't have an unregistered weapon. Wasn't going 157. Who knows? Inquisitor Civic. Does Z do the Patriot way of trade early? We can get a better deal. Hope not. Patriot way of trade early. When you get a better deal. I think you're saying you trade away players still in their prime, but before they drop and they have value. If that's what you're saying, I hope that's what he does. What if Soto and I have been saying that was wrong with the John Gruden, Mike Mayock regime? They fell in love with players. You can't fall in love with players. You fall in like with players. Coaches can fall in love with players. GMs can't fall in love with players. It sounds cruel, but you can't treat them as human beings with feelings. and friendships and bonds. You got to treat them like assets. It takes a cruel, heartless person to be a great GM, which is why Belichick is one, which is what I hope Ziegler is. And it's going to sting, right? We're going to lose players that were like, man, that guy was so good. I loved him, especially when we start winning, right? Like we're going to have, this is a good problem to have, Raider Nation. If we start winning and we end up trading away players that won us an AFC championship or caught the winning touchdown in the playoffs, it's going to happen. And that's a good problem to have. It's going to suck, but the alternative is not having anybody that anybody wants. I know this feels so new for Raider Nation, right? All these teams are trying to get our guys, right? Trade rumors for Derek Carr happen everywhere. Darren Waller trade rumors. It's like, we're good now. People want our players. Remember when everyone said, why would the Packers get rid of the best receiver they had in years after the Packers offered him more money to stay? Why indeed? Like, who would do that? Yeah, he wanted out, right? And how rare was that? Right? Like, it literally took Davante Adams, grew up a Raider fan, said he was going to play for the Raiders. His best friend's the quarterback somewhere else. He has no help over there. He has a great quarterback, but no other wide receivers. He's the entire offense. Went to a state with no income tax. Went to a better overall team in a tougher division. Like, it took all those things in a row for Davante Adams to get that trade. And also, he had to be a guy that they believed Davante Adams when he said, I'm holding out. Players say it all the time, but players don't usually actually do it. It's one thing to say, yeah, I'm going to hold out. It's another thing to not take game checks. It's another thing to not get workout bonuses. So I know you're harping on this, Love DC Forever, and I appreciate it. But the Davante Adams trade wasn't usual. It was very, very, very unusual. The stars had to align perfectly, and it all had to work out exactly right. And that's how we got Davante Adams. It's not the rule. It's the exception to the rule. And that's my point. And it's like, yeah, I got it. Look, Darren Waller could be traded. Certainly possible. I just haven't seen any evidence whatsoever that's the case. AJ Cole eating hot dogs like at the Pro Bowl. There you go. What was that Simpson line when at Simpsons where like the hot dog vendor was always like following Homer Simpson around? And Marge is like, do you just follow my husband around everywhere? And the guy goes, lady, she's putting my kids through college. That's going to be old AJ. Sonny Jeffers, just coming on, starting from the beginning. Have we ever considered that Florio attacks DC4 as often as he does because he knows how many clicks and or responses from Raider Nation? Very good possibility. Certainly possible. If there's a fan, like I said, if there's a fan base that you want to like poke the nerve, poke the bear, Raider Nation. We're passionate people. You think Jaguars fans are going to flood your inbox? Sorry, Jaguars fans. I'm sure there's some good ones out there, but not like Raider Nation. Crew Joe. Grew sucked as a coach, telegraphed his plays. Kennedy said he was predictable. Yeah. He was. You're wrong because all social media is run by the dirty left, limiting free speech. So it's great we have someone leaning right. So it's a good thing. First Amendment dude. Well, look, this is obviously talking about Elon Musk getting Twitter. Look, understand this. Social media is currently run by billionaires. It's just another billionaire running Twitter now. Like, it's not like it was this bastion of democracy ran by, First Amendment activists and, union workers. It was run by billionaires before, and it's run by billionaires now. Like, not changing. DC said it ain't happening. Let's hope not two. If we do, we need the farm. And yes, we can afford him. We need a defense now. Yeah. Where do you show this? Darren Waller chimed in, or Derek Carr chimed in. No chance. Now, it's not like Derek Carr has like GM powers and he has the ability to make this decision. But like I said, we don't see Derek Carr chime in that often on things like this. That's not really his game. That's not something he really cares about. That's not. So when he does chime in, to me, it means, something. I think if Derek Carr thought this was a possibility, he doesn't tweet this. Let's put it that way. If Derek Carr knew something we didn't, saw the writing on the wall, or had talked to Darren Waller, and Darren's like, "Hey, bro, I love you. We're 60% of the way through with these negotiations. I can make $15 million in Green Bay. Love you, bro, but I got to go get my money." Derek Carr doesn't tweet this. I think the staff believes they have talent that won despite coaching Gruden and company. You don't get rid of Waller for the same reason you don't trade DC. They're the most productive pieces. I'm with you 100%. Like I said, you don't. Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler have had multiple opportunities, specifically McDaniels, multiple opportunities to go somewhere else and be the head coach and be the GM somewhere else. Every season for the last several seasons, they've had offers. Remember what happened with the Colts, right? Josh McDaniels had the job lined up, was on a plane, and Belichick made him a deal he couldn't say no to. So there's a reason why, and we know why, right? Because it's a 10-win team that went to the playoffs with a franchise quarterback and a solid squad, despite the fact they had the most calamitous season in NFL history. Ruggs, Gruden, all that drama, and they're still successful. This is why I'm saying, no matter how good the AFC West is getting, no matter how good the AFC in general is getting, Josh McDaniels and Dave Ziegler have no excuse but to succeed. They're taking over a team that accomplished so much and overcame so much last season. Hopefully we don't get the same drama this season. And now the team's better. Adding Chandler Jones, Devontae Adams. Hopefully Carr can pick up McDaniels' offense. Keep Waller. Keep Renfro. Everyone goes hog wild. Crujo, exactly. Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram, billionaire club. Yeah. It's not like, look, is it possible Elon Musk comes into Twitter and completely gets rid of all the sanctions and all the censorship? Certainly possible. And I hope that's the case. I'm a big no censorship guy, right? Hopefully that's the case. But what evidence do we have of that? It's one billionaire and now another billionaire. At least Musk is saying he's going to do it, but I'll believe it when I see it. I'm not going to trust another billionaire with his, with the new set of keys. Ryu Reaper, Waller ain't leaving. Who you got at 86, bro? Yeah, Waller ain't leaving. So our first pick, third round, it's so hard to pick a name at that spot. I'm not big. I try to be as pragmatic as I can here. I want to talk about things that matter. I want to, share my unique experiences with you guys, right? I want to give you guys, I have unique experiences in my life. Been working in media for 15 years, been Raider fan my whole life. I'm in Vegas all the time. I see things that I want to share it with you, right? I want to make sure it's pragmatic, something you can use. Mock drafts, I don't want to say they're useless, but when you're talking all the way to 86, 85 things have to happen before then. Trades, people moving around, players getting traded, who's going to go where. To be able to predict who's going to be available at 86, I can give you a name, Ryu. I can pretend, but I just don't think it's going to be a factor. I think it's going to be either receiver or lineman, offensive lineman, just because of the depth of those two positions and how so many people. I think there's going to be some really good second round quality guys at those two positions available in the third round because all these other teams know that there's depth at those two positions. I believe Dave Ziegler when he says, he didn't say it verbatim, but he basically said, I'm going best player available. I believe him when he says that. I hope he does it. Every coach says that. Every GM says that. Few of them actually do it. He has the luxury now, though, of a Raiders squad with no glaring holes. Certainly, just player positions that need help. O line, DB. We'll see what the Raiders do with Josh Jacobs and Jonathan Abrams' fifth-year extensions that are up on Monday. I think how he drafts may affect those decisions a little bit, or at least give us a hint. What I want, Ryu, the best player available, and I hope it's an offensive lineman or a receiver. That's what I hope. Everyone gets paid, but Waller, wow, kicking the balls. Again, all the things the Raiders did for Waller, they gave him that extension real fast. The contract he got now, he got real quick. The Raiders do deserve credit for striking on Darren Waller. That Mayock Gruden crew, for all the mistakes they made in the draft, mistakes they made in free agency. Not only did they identify Darren Waller, they locked him down quick. It was a smart move. We definitely need to sign solid right tackle, Darrell Williams. Again, don't reach. That'd be great, right? Best player available, right tackle. Love it. I think we're going to get a couple offensive linemen this draft. I think we'll get a few. If we still had Ruggs, you think we still have traded for Adams? No way. Definitely not. I don't think so. If we still had Ruggs, because this is the thing, the working parts to get Devontae. So Devontae might, I don't know if Devontae would say, hey, I want to go to the Raiders. Because he saw how the Raiders desperately needed an X wide receiver. We needed a number one X wide receiver. And who's better than the best number one X wide receiver in football? And so he knew that that fit was part of it. Waller has had 3 good years. Is it 3? How many he's played? It was 2. He was in Baltimore 2, and he was with the Raiders for 4. I think he had 2 good years because his first season with the Raiders, he like hardly ever played. And the last season he was hurt. So he had 2 good years. 2 good years with the Raiders. And I think he'll have 20 more because I'm going to leave it at that. All right, that's it for me. We'll have way more draft stuff for you on Soto and I's big show tomorrow. It's the podcast and the full show. We're going to record it tomorrow. It'll be ready Thursday morning, getting you ready for the draft. So even though it's a weird draft, not a sexy draft, Raiders don't have a pick in the first 2 rounds. There's still a lot to be excited about. Still some depth. The Raiders traditionally, right, they've been really good the mid rounds. It's obviously a whole new regime, but let's hope the tradition continues. And until then, knock on wood if you're with me.